But right now we got the coach on the line. Coach Wayne.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hi, Coach.
Is it afternoon or evening? Yeah, what time is it? It's afternoon. All right.
4:07. It's early evening. Is that what you call it?
Early evening.
Sometime. It's not nighttime. How about that?
It's evening eve. It's almost.
Evening Eve. I like that one. But today we're talking about, like earlier, I even read a little, I guess, write-in from one of our listeners, and they basically were talking about how they've been married for 14 years, but, they just don't feel the love anymore, and they wanted to separate, but I guess one of the kids spazzed out, so she was just saying, and my thing is, if you've already made the effort to try to stay in your relationship and you know that it's over, I mean, for me, it is possible to set boundaries between the adults in the house while you kind of, spend a little bit more time with the kids' mental health to let them understand the separation. That is still going to happen. You know what I mean? So to turn to you, talking to people who might have kids and are in relationships that are unhealthy and unhappy, is having the kids a reason to stay? And if not, how do you really make that separation?
It's a very interesting question. And my short answer is no. It's not enough to actually stay in a relationship for children. Children learn from their parents, and what you're teaching them is how to build unhealthy relationships and to continue stay in an unhealthy situation beyond the time.
Yeah.
We need to teach them that when you're in a situation that's not healthy for you mentally, emotionally, physically, regardless of what the reason is, you need to leave.
Yeah.
And you have to get yourself away from the situation. When you stay unnecessarily, one, you're assuming the children aren't smart enough to realize what's going on, and they're smart enough to realize what's going on. They know that mommy and daddy are not getting along. They can see the tension. They can feel the tension.
And if
sometimes
there's
you can cut it
abuse,
with a
they
knife.
know. Yeah, if there's abuse, they know. They know.
They know. And what you're then doing is teaching them that it's okay to stay in unhealthy situations. It's okay to stay in an unhealthy relationship, regardless of what it is. Some people say, I want to teach my kids that we're not quitters, but
I was going to say that. So how do you walk the line of saying you just didn't give up? How do you walk that line?
You've already quit on the relationship, though the relationship is over. Mm-hmm. Now you're just playing games. Now you're pretending that everything's fine. And this pretense, it will only last for so long until the children start realizing that is this what a relationship's supposed to be about, where mommy and daddy don't talk, where they sit and live in different rooms, they don't engage, they don't, kids watch things. And my wife and I were in bed laying down, and the kids were in bed with us as well too, and we just happened to hold hands while we were laying in bed. And you know what happened?
What?
Our daughter came over and then rested her hand, and then our son came over and rested his hand on top of our, and all four of our hands were touched. And it wasn't that we called it, they just saw it.
They saw it.
And these are the little things that kids pick up about what a relationship is supposed to be
what
about.
Love is supposed to feel
and
like.
what love is exactly, what it looks like.
Yeah.
And so now, by forcing to stay in a relationship where love does not exist fully, you're teaching your children that this is what love looks like. Right. And it's an unhealthy way for them to express and experience love.
Yeah. Is that
because
also,
now they'll go out doing that.
It's also why we have a lot of adults, I think, who are just basically making excuses for their bad relationships, because in their mind frame, they feel like, well, this is just how it's supposed to be anyway. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, you know that hurt people. We've spoken about stuff like that before. But if you see your mother or your father being abused, whether physically or emotionally, majority, 90%, I think, of those children, if I remember the studies, grow up thinking that abuse is okay in a relationship.
Yeah. And even if the ones, okay, like for instance, what you just said, I believe that to be fully true. But then, like me and you had this conversation, I also believe that there's the other side of the coin. Hurt people do hurt people, but there are hurt people that rise past it and want other people to not hurt the way they did. I know this because I'm one of those people. I've seen my father literally punch my mom and give her a black eye. But I do have violent tendencies. However, I don't want to go out there and hurt people. I want people not to hurt. You know what I mean?
And you don't want to. It doesn't mean that it doesn't happen.
No, definitely doesn't mean.
Whether it's subconscious, whether it's, you don't even notice it. If 10 people run across the highway, 9 of them are going to get hit. 1 is going to get away. Is that enough to say, okay, well, 1 person got away, so it's okay to run across the highway?
Absolutely not.
And that's the thing. We look to outliers and try to make the exceptions become the rule. And it's not. The rule is that if you run across the highway, you're probably going to get hit by a car.
Exactly.
And so if you're in a situation where you're in an abusive relationship or your children are seeing you, chances are they're going to grow up thinking that this is okay and they're going to emulate. So you want to take yourself away from that. You want to take your children away from that. And if you think that you're protecting your children by staying, no, you're actually developing them by leaving them.
Yeah.
You're showing them what strength looks like, what determination looks like,
yes,
what overcoming looks like. That's what you're teaching them.
Yes, to stand your ground, stand for something or fall for everything, set your boundaries to be a better person. Exactly. This person definitely put in their message that the husband wasn't physically abusive, but on many levels, mental abuse is just as damaging as physical body abuse.
It sometimes can be worse. It sometimes can be worse, you know, not to equate or to say anyone's experience is less than another.
No.
But emotional abuse can last with you a lot longer than the physical ones.
Very much so.
Because, you know, the thump and the punch and the slap and the whatever,
bruises
it will
go away
physically. But the emotional stain that will stay on your life, that will
nobody
stay forever,
else is going to want you. Look at you. Look at you. You look a mess. Who wants you? Where are you going to go? You're not going to get any better than this. You're stupid.
Exactly. You're stupid. You're worthless.
You're worthless.
You don't mean nothing. You're so dumb. How are you going to survive? I don't know how you got along this far.
Exactly.
You know? These are things that not only do you get it, but then if you have children, that trickles down onto the children as well, too, who either see it, experience it, and you know what? They also think that you're worthless.
Yeah.
They also think that you're less than a person. They also think that you're damaged and all of that. Because if mommy says that you are, or daddy says that you are, then you must be.
Yep.
And so a lot of times the parent who is the dominant one teach their children to also treat their parent.
Yeah, because the dominant one looks more shiny. Too. So why would I want to look like the weak one? And a lot of times you'll make your kids resent you for being what they see as the weak fence. So,
Sorry, what I was saying is that they also teach the children to treat their parent, the lesser one in their eyes, lower as well, too. So now that child does one of two things, like you're saying. They either grow up emulating the mom, or they grow up emulating the dad. One or the two of them. They either become the subservient one or they become the dominant one. And, you know, that's what they portray as well, too. One or the other things are going to happen.
No, every once in a while, though, you get a unicorn that turns into a superhero.
I'm a unicorn. I didn't have my father involved in my life in any capacity at all from the entire time I grew up.
Exactly.
And I completely did the opposite. I wanted to make sure I was in my children's life in every single aspect that I can be. So I did the complete opposite, you know. And
well, I kind of didn't want to have any kids at all. I was like, I ain't doing that at all. But I got my son. Yeah, but I got my son. But I tried my best to just speak real conversations with him. Like me and you had the conversation. He's the one that even got me thinking about that whole entire, hurt people. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, if we always say hurt people, we forget to send the message that there are some hurt people who have overcome it and really use their hurt to empower other people to get past the hurt or avoid getting in the position of that same type of hurt.
See, the phrase hurt people is also a phrase that's usually used to excuse someone's behavior.
Exactly. And I don't like
when
it as
someone
an
does
excuse.
something bad, hurt people. So he's just doing that or she's just doing that because they were hurt as well, too. And
it
helps you to understand where someone's coming from, but it doesn't excuse their behavior.
No.
It doesn't excuse their behavior.
There's no excuse, people.
No.
And like I said earlier, the more you grow, the more you read, the more you expand your brain, you realize these things. Like it comes to you like second nature. Go ahead.
So the one thing, I'm a big Adlerian philosopher. I love his philosophy. And I read a lot about his way of thinking. And the one thing that he teaches is that only you are responsible for your behavior.
Yep.
Nothing that happened in your past at any point in your life makes you do the things that you do. No. A conscious decision is made every time you do the things you do, regardless of the abuse, the physical, the emotional, the sexual. Every single decision that you make is a decision that you made, not based on what you're using what happened in the past as an excuse for the things you do.
To enable the bad things that you're doing.
To enable the bad things, right. To make it justifiable because, this did happen to me and that did happen to me, that's why I do this. No, you do it because it's your excuse to get away with doing what you want to do.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, if you're doing something and it doesn't feel right, and it gives you the bad feeling, but yet you go back and you do it again, and you go back and you do it again. Yeah, you cannot blame the past trauma. You just don't want to learn, and you want to keep going back and doing the bad things.
No.
And I don't say it judging, because we've all kind of.
It's important to learn from that trauma. It's important to grow from that trauma. Yeah. It's important to talk through it and to get past it. It's not okay to use it as an excuse for bad behavior.
Not at all. Yeah. And going back to our conversation out there, if you're in a relationship and you guys are not getting along, you can't even contain how much you don't like each other in front of the kids. It is not an option to stay in that relationship and let your kids see this kind of behavior. Don't let your kids believe that this is what a relationship is supposed to look like. Keep that away from the kids as much as possible, and find your way to separate, because no.
What you just said is so pivotal, Nikki, and I don't think people realize this. Your parents, you as a parent, teach your child what relationships are supposed to look like.
Exactly.
You teach your child how they should be treated.
Yep.
Your behavior and how you allow yourself to be treated and how you treat others, that's what you're teaching your child on how they should be treated and how they should grow up. So if you're allowing yourself to be abused, you're teaching your child that it's either okay to abuse or to be abused. If you stay in a relationship that's unhealthy, you're teaching your child that that's okay. If you argue and cuss with your spouse and your partner, and you're always fighting and bickering about everything, you call them this, you call them that, you are teaching your child that that is okay to be in a relationship. If
let's
you
go
don't
one
like
step
it,
further.
change it.
Let's go one step further, and let's, ladies, stop talking about the fathers in front of the kids. And vice versa. And vice versa. Yeah. But I've seen some situations where it's like
your father ain't blah,
blah,
your
or why don't you go ask your father dirty girlfriend, or like. Why would you?
What are you teaching?
Yeah, why would you do that to kids? Why would you?
What is the purpose of this?
Yeah, I don't know.
What are you trying to teach and accomplish? Ask yourself the question, by making that statement, what was I trying to accomplish? Who was I trying to hurt?
Exactly.
And
because I'm hurting my kid. You're hurting your kid.
Who ended up being hurt in this situation?
Yeah.
And why would you want to drive a wedge between your child and their father or their mother? What purpose does this serve?
It doesn't serve.
But nobody asks these questions. You are being hurt, and so you're lashing out. You're a parent.
And you're putting your kids right in the middle. We have to do better. You got to do better. Got to do better. Thank you. I love talking to you, Coach Wayde.
Always good. Always
I like your beach scenery. Keep using it, but you got to switch it up. Maybe take me to Ibiza or somewhere sometime. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to go there myself. Right? By the way these tickets are looking,
well, one of them EDM fests is still gonna get my money. I know that. I just haven't decided which one yet. So
I'm still trying to make it down there for July. It's still on my calendar. Let's see what happens.
Okay, if not Reggae Sunfest, come on over. We got space.
That's what I'm trying to make it down for.
All right. Well, that ain't no EDM fest.
No. I'm talking about Jamaica. I'm trying to make it down for Sunfest.
Okay. Well, we got you when you get down here, Coach. We got you when you get down here. Thank you so much. And if you want to follow the coach, you can follow him at Take 2 Steps Forward. Right, Coach?
That's me. That's where you find me on Instagram, online at Take 2 Steps Forward. Best way to get me.
Where else? Where else can they find you?
In Orlando. That's where I'm at right now.
I'm done with you, Coach. I'll see you at my birthday bash in November, though. I know that much. I'm going to see you at my birthday bash. All right, Coach Wayde. Later. See him and follow him at Take 2 Steps Forward. Now, see, that conversation seems simple, but it's not, because I think we all know people who are in relationships and they're very unhappy. And I think we've all known someone or seen someone literally degrade, insult their partner, ex-partner in front of their children. We've seen these behaviors. These are behaviors we also have got to curb. We've got to curb. It's not even optional. It needs to be curbed.